About 35 years ago, I was studying with a Swedish philosophy professor named Yandel Woodfin. I was attending a school in Texas, and I don't know how a Swedish professor of philosophy ended up in Texas, but it was probably one of the greatest classes that I've ever taken. Dr. Woodfin was intrigued with the concepts related to aesthetics. Now, aesthetics is the branch of philosophy that deals with questions like what is art? What makes something art? Or what is beauty? And how can I know if something is beautiful? I don't know if those kinds of questions intrigue you, but he challenged me in a way that not many professors in my life have. Dr. Woodfin was convinced that beauty is not so much in the eyes of the beholder, like we talk about, but rather that beauty, at its best, at its highest, is a reflection of the God who created. Now, that was an idea that, as a Christian, that intrigued me. I've developed a lifelong passion for art and for literature and for music and for poetry and really a desire to study those things deeply and think about those things deeply, largely because of the influence of Dr. Woodfin. Well, I've been wanting to just make some videos to reflect on some issues related to art and beauty. And today, I'd like to just share with you a photograph that I took when I was studying photography in Tennessee. This photograph maybe is the best photograph I've ever taken. And I don't suppose that it's art in the same way that an Ansel Adams or an Alfred Stieglitz photograph would be art. But it's a favorite of mine. A lot of my friends really have liked it too. I don't know if you believe like I do that God is still active in creation. But if he is, then probably he's using things like seismic activities and volcanic eruptions to create things like islands in the Pacific. And these rocks take on special meaning if you think that, because they're not just rocks that have been formed through some kind of natural eruption, but rather they've been formed by the fingers of God. And I don't know what you think about human ability, but the kid in this photograph was at the peak of his physical ability in some ways. The fact that he was able to jump off this rock and land in the water and not land like I probably would have face down in a pool of blood on the rocks was largely because God had created him to be athletic and perfect and useful. Um, but those things are really not what I find most intriguing about this photograph. That what I really like about this photograph is what it says about our response to the God who's there. See, I don't know where you are in your spiritual walk. Maybe you have no interest in spiritual things, or maybe you really are diligently engaging with things of the Spirit. But some people have defined faith as what you do at the end of your reason. That when you get to the end of your reason, all you can do is leap, and that is faith.